And this is not a tearjerker film, but it's
No.
certainly hopefully one that leaves you with a, hey, there's something else here.
But that's
You know?
what they were. The DeLoreans.
No, they're horrible.
Oh, they're time machines. They were hideous in
They
their day.
weighed like 7,000 pounds.
They did.
They got like 1 mile a gallon. And they were the laughing stock of the entire world. It's like the next Back to the Future is going to be like a beat up Fiat. It's going to be like, oh, that's amazing. Oh, with that car, I got to have that. That car will go. You got to get up to 28 miles an hour to take that to the past. I think
We're
you and
gonna
I
need
can talk
roads if
off
we
me,
want
by
to
the
get up
way.
to 28.
Forget the interview. Let's just BS about life and movies.
Let's
I'm
do
with it.
it.
I'm with it. I need it.
Well, I do want to talk about the film because Bitch I'm Early is so funny.
Thank you.
In it you pack a lot in 6 minutes.
Thank you.
And right now I should say too, we're speaking with Jesse Cowell,
Yes, kid.
Jesse Cowell, the filmmaker or the creator of Bitch I'm Early. Uh,
Some people are afraid to say it, by the way, and it's okay. Like what the festival director, she's lovely. Leslie, she's amazing. Yeah, everybody's coming up to me like, "Oh, bitch, I'm early. Bitch, I'm early." She's like, "BIE," right? So people make a choice, and I respect the choice. I respect the choice. Please continue.
which also works when it's just sort of like bye, like
Bye. Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
end
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
it. Where did the film come from? It's so much fun.
I don't want to say like unanimously I hate offices because every time I say that I'm like I'm never gonna get another job, right? Like here it comes the guy, yeah, we're gonna hire him. We're gonna look at his resume. He was like he hates everything about our culture. Why would we have him here around the coffee maker? You know? So no, I don't. But I hate offices. It's kind of do. I gotta hate them. They're horrible. Like who would like it's an inhuman experience. It's crafted to where nobody knows what anybody else is making, no problem. So nobody feels equal, and it's all sort of like this game of mystery. The resources are siphoned to the top. You got middle managers who can hide. You got job justifiers who don't want to do anything and put it on other people. You have the glue element that somehow gets fired, but they were actually doing everything. You got the person who sends out cards to everybody and nobody else gives a shit. Like this is like everything about it is ripe for like a comedy because it's like a bunch of like robots. I think when they replace us all in offices with robots, it's gonna be a blessing, and I think the robots gonna hate each other too. If you put the same exact rule, I think it's gonna exist the exact same way. I don't get it. It's like because every time I try to do it, and someone's like hi, and I get that hi, I'm like this person hates me, or that passive aggressive nightmare. Like that's just aggression. Just because you're quiet about it doesn't make it not less aggressive. And so for me, these kinds of people, like they've made me so sad because I can't be a human being when I walk in the door. So it's either it's completely insensitive or it's so sensitive that you can't utter a word. And I'm like, this is as an artist traps my brain into a nightmare. So yeah, this is where this comes from. Is just pure disdain for it.
Wait, see, I love that you used that word there because that was one of the things I wanted to ask about is the humanity.
Hmm.
Because there's something about the corporate world which is designed to make us lose
Design.
our humanity, and you
Yeah.
see that in these characters.
Right.
Um,
Thank you.
what what is it about it that strips us of that? It makes us these animals.
Well, it's like look, because it's a resource game and it's one that doesn't that's not look I'm not here to be like hey socialism. I believe in sort of incentive based systems, right?
Sure.
But I think that when it's only the only part of a company, right, the only reason you go to that job is sometimes to get that check because we have to, right? I get it, we all have to work, but like you go there, and if that's really the only reason you're there and none of it is really fair and a structure is in place and it doesn't make sense,
Hmm.
then you're going to quickly get, bitter. I have been in situations, and I'm sorry for anything I've ever done to the universe. I apologize now. I'm going to swear to God, I'm never going to go to, I'm not going to go to Oscars. I'm going to go to the apologies, and I'm going to stand up there. I'm like, sorry for what I said 20 years ago. But this is in an office, right? Where you go in and you just can't be yourself. You have to be very sort of like homogenized into this in any angle. And some of that's really good. I mean, we can't be offensive to people. We want to be considerate. But it's just like it traps you into this mindset. So say, okay, step here, don't step here. But I also have to fight. Because if I
Hmm.
don't fight, I don't make money. If I don't make money, I can't have the American dream. And then we can make another 10 films on consumerism. That's coming. Right. Because like, and I'm constantly being pitched. And if we don't all buy stuff on Black Friday, the whole system collapses.
Right.
So you're really just somebody who's on a treadmill. And then you go into that office and you're trying to be a little bit ahead on the treadmill. And then it takes people like me, and I think of myself as a nice person, or at least I aspire to be a nice person. The effort is there. And you put me in an environment for long enough that makes me have to do certain things to be successful. At some point, I'm either going to do those things or I'm going to get a little curmudgeony about them. And I think that that's what it forces on people. So that's why at first I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." What I'm really saying is, even I regret moments in an office because the culture itself is infectious. And sometimes it's wonderful, and sometimes you get a small team. But when you get to a giant bureaucracy, nothing in it is fair,
Yeah.
right? And we know how it works, and it creates people like the people in my movie. And it's easy to document them. You just get talented people who, are backbiting, and they're wonderful actors. And I'm lucky. I'm blessed to have such talented people come in contact with me and actually believe that I can do something.
Oh, they're so good in this,
Oh,
and
thank you,
everyone's moving. Everyone's moving all the time, and
thank you,
I don't just mean physically. I mean they're great. They do a great job.
thank you.
Well, it's interesting what you're talking about there. I'm wondering if maybe what your thoughts are on blame, because we see in these conversations like they're shooting at each other from every way. Well, they're okay, boomer. Oh, I'm a millennial. You don't know the
Right,
'90s.
right,
I'm this and all of a sudden they start nitpicking on these externals
right.
that just make things worse. They make
Mm.
things worse.
Well, I think that speaks to culture, right? So this is across culture, and I have a lot of friends. I grew up with all ethnicities around me. I'm a public school New York City kid, and so my culture is one of many cultures, and my culture is part of their culture and part of mine. And the world doesn't not like when things are not divided.
Mm,
So it's just the way our unfortunate world and certain people work. And so you get systems where all people do is label each other and find ways to find not commonality, and especially in systems like where you're fighting for money, right? So then it's like I'll find a reason. And what was interesting to me in the film was I try to make things that are layered. So I want it to be really fun. I want it to be
yeah.
super fast because it's an ADD world, but I also want to texture in, a philosophy of how I feel about things. And in
Mm,
this case, these are two people who should be friends. They could be each other 20 years apart or 10 years apart, whatever that is. Like they could be sisters, but they're put in an environment where they are the same and they're both Latina women. And so they should be like, banded together, but the environment forces that out of them.
mm,
And that's a cultural thing. We don't want, in the end, not we, me and you, but a lot of culture really doesn't want, black and white people to get along, gay and straight people to be bonded over and common beliefs. And this is what happens in culture, and it's subtle. And usually it's the peacemakers. This is getting really serious, but the peacemakers catch the most strife for trying
mhm.
to bring them together. So I wanted to make a movie. It's a comedy, so I'm not being very funny, but I wanted to make a movie that showed that these people should be working together. They should be friends. And it's the system that's standing in their way. And in the end, I don't want to spoil it, the system shows them that the very thing that they were fighting for doesn't care about them at all. And this whole thing, I'm also fascinated in the terms like the movie, the show Beef. I was developing at the same time I saw Beef. I'm fascinated when people lock horns.
Mm,
Like it's incredible to me. And then I've noticed in my own life when somebody cut me off in traffic and you immediately want to chase them down and be like, you jerk, whatever it is. Um, I don't, by the way. But like the feeling is there, right? The impulse
yeah.
to lock, even for that 30 seconds. And I say to myself, because of my own movie, I shouldn't lock horns with that mentally. Just let it go because locking horns makes everything else in the universe disappear. I'm also fascinated by pettiness, which happens a lot in that environment too, and absurdity to show it. So the idea is they're petty and locking horns, and nothing else in the world matters to them. So it's also a morality tale of how they kind of are shitty to all the people along the way, like smelling the homeless guy or treating the car driver like crap, or ignoring all the causes. And that's why the very end, if you stayed after the credits, is a little sort of moral growth moment, hopefully, to say, hey, we should be better people. And that's what I think film's responsibility is, to show the point of view of the filmmaker, and sort of maybe make something that's a little thought experiment. And the secret sauce is hopefully really making them laugh and never letting their attention go. And then behind it is the texture of what you actually want to say. And hopefully I said it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think that's actually what I love about this film. In 6 minutes, you take us on quite a ride.
Oh, thank you.
And it's funny. It makes you laugh. It's chaotic. It's erratic, but there's something underneath
Hmm.
that even by the end, like by the time you find out about that system, how it doesn't work, there's something genuine that sort of sparks there, and you
Hmm.
go from the job is the only thing that matters to you matter as well.
Yeah, thank you. And it's like, I mean, some of my favorite films, like the really strong comedies for me, are the ones like one of the best is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which I have some inspiration from. Right. One of the best, it's best drama comedy ever made, I think. And this is borrows from, not borrows, inspired by my and goes to my own brain, but inspired by that. And say Run Lola Run for this sort of intensity, and a little Edgar Wright for this action comedy to show off cinematic style. But like that, back to Planes, Trains, and what it does is it works on you the whole film, and you have no idea.
Mm.
And in the end, when it comes out, what it really is, everything makes sense, and all the silly, and you're so drawn in because laughter is a much faster way to, empathy and heart than even pain, because you open up when you laugh.
Mm.
And so if there's something else there, you can go from laughter to tears in a heartbeat, and it's a beautiful transition. It's not like, oh, I'm sad in the sort of Schindler's List sense, but I'm sad because they got me to a very calm state to be able to really feel this moment. And this is not a tearjerker film, but it's
No.
certainly hopefully one that leaves you with hey, there's something else here. But in the end of the day, and the other message in the end is, a little bit for one of them, what is it? A leopard doesn't change their spot, zebra stripes. I'm bad at metaphors, analogies, all those things, but I confuse them. It happens. My brain is a little abstract. Sorry.
Well, you say that because it's a great metaphor, and yeah, I know, I understand the part
Thank you.
without giving
Thank you.
anything
You've taught
away.
me.
Pardon?
You've taught me the word metaphor in this conversation. I'm very proud of you. I've
Well,
learned.
thank you, thank you.
You're very welcome. Please, it was a great metaphor. I interrupted you for my stupid joke. It was a great metaphor. Please continue. I'm so sorry.
No, please. No, honestly, there is a great metaphor at the end of this film, but it is really funny along the way, and it's got a
Thank
real
you.
fire to it. So,
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
um,
it a lot. Can I just real quick? I would say like out loud before we end this thing. I always want to give a shout out to Jacinia and Michelle. Jacinia being the older of the two, and Michelle and Carrie Height, who I've worked with for years, who plays the causes guy, and Elizabeth Sung, is the violinist, which is the most insane part of the movie, in my opinion. But
yes,
she's
oh yes,
wonderful. Yeah. And so and Hillary Walker and Shari. My goal with this is as a calling card, as a proof of concept, and also an enjoyable piece of content. Like that's first. It can't just be about the goal. It has to be about this thing. But as a sort of calling card and proof of concept, I really wanted to say, and I say to every actor I work with, there can be no weak links in this. If you're on the screen for 2 seconds, you have to be amazing in it, and they all are. I'm really proud of them, more than me. I feel like they gave me their heart on a platter, and I'm very, very happy and thrilled. You have to be. I think at some stage in your life, you don't have to be, but this is what is the anti-corporate thing, right?
Mm.
It's just grateful for every single little thing. I'm grateful to you. I'm grateful to my publicist here. Like it's what how you want to live life. It's just more rewarding, I think, in the end, than creating some $200 million thing with no love for anybody but the franchise that you're building it on. I really hope to see more films of like where real heart are in them and they come across in ways that hopefully affect people. That was a really long speech to thank my actors, but that's how I feel.
no, that was great, and I
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Honestly, I appreciate your time, Jesse. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
It was a
And
pleasure meeting you.
it's a
Yay.
pleasure
Back to
meeting
the
you
future, baby. Let's go in our new time machine, which looks like a garbage truck.
too. That's good.
Have a
Have a great
wonderful
day,
day. Thank you.
man. Thanks so
Bye.
much. Bye. Bye.